works. Okay. Sorry. Hi, everybody. I also thank the organizers for the invitation, and I'm very happy what is going on here today and hopefully also tomorrow because of the topics, and finally I have the chance to present where also the other panelists are on the same track. Usually I present in more orthodox environments. Briefly, who I am. I was born in Italy. My mother is from Mozambique, my father is Italian. I studied philosophy of language in Milan. Then I moved to Rotterdam. I studied philosophy of economics in a master. Now I'm concluding a PhD at the University of Leicester School of Management in the UK. And I spin around, let's put it that way. You're going to see why. So the title of my speech or talk is Freecoin, Technical Innovation in Currency Design and Trust Management Systems. Actually, well, this is not the right one, but okay. Because the title was Freecoin Software for Healing Monetary Syndromes, and you're going to see why. So the outline very briefly, I go into the syndromes that have very well been explained even in this morning, what I call debt and monetary governance syndromes. Then the inadequacies of what I call the conventional system, so the mainstream system to address them, and what kind of experimentation I'm involved in also with Macau, for example, but throughout Europe, and I will show you what we're doing in order to really have a practical take on this change that everybody's talking about at the normative level, political economic level, and see where we can go by applying technological innovation. I just asked how many of you are familiar with Bitcoin here? Can you? So, okay, I hope you can understand what I'm talking about. So, money syndromes. The first one is debt at interest, and everybody used to have this kind of money to deal with because it's the only one we are allowed by law to deal with. And the second one is the vertical pyramidal governance of the institutions. So we are in Greece. Let's talk about the Troika. You know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to be quick as possible, so sorry if I'm not so clear. Examples of debt syndrome. So what are the components? We had some 425 banking, financial, or monetary crises since the 1970s registered by the IMF, so not the anarchist groups. So it's real stuff. And they are recurrent, and the more they recur, and the bigger they are. And we know, we are experiencing that. That causes economic stagnation, at least in a situation we are facing now, although the world is full of capital, as somebody said before. Distribution inequalities, lack of democratic decision-making, which will go also in the governance one. High transaction costs, because this system is very costly. Just as an example, we invented the credit card in the 1950s, and we continue to use this quite expensive means of credit provision. And it has this industrial age mindset. Let's say that capital and capitalism, as they have been invented 300-400 years ago, they were working for the situation we had. If we go on today, we need 5-6 planets, as has been explained before. Component of the governance syndrome, or lack of thereof, there is lack of transparency, no accountability, we are not in the rule of law. I think you know, and thanks for the previous presentation to give more detail on these aspects. So what happens? How to address the syndromes? To address syndrome one, the debt syndrome, we are into the paradox whereby we want to pay debt with more debt, and we think that we are going to make it, but it's a mathematical impossibility, even with a lot of planets, and we will see then why. On a governance level, we see that the public, I don't know how clear it is, in the white down there, there's written the percentage of people that believe that banks do what is right. And we see that in the West, in China, that have been questioned because the People's Bank of China maybe didn't want to, give democratic expression to the population or whatever. But it's going down. Since the last few years, we know, we perceive it. It's also, well, demonstrated statistically, as long as somebody believes in that, that the situation is not good. There is a loss of trust in the financial services industry, and at some point, everybody of us experienced that. So what to do to correctly address the syndromes, the debt syndrome? Very radical, very utopian, but I think that, even as everybody before commented, one can ignore reality, but not the consequences of ignoring reality. So we have to do radical stuff, I guess.
Utopia is the engine of history. So.
Yeah. So let's change the money creation process. So we don't create money as debt, but we create it as credit. And let's change the way it's created, so in a decentralized rather than centralized fashion. What about the governance syndrome? We should get back to the people the power of money creation. It's very clear in this forum arena we are in. By reverse engineering the money system with a formula for currency systems which would be both owned and managed by the users. Examples? So I'm involved in this EU-funded project. You see the flag there. So, well, at everybody's opinion, but since the urgency is such, and since I don't have nothing to lose, I'm 33, Italian, no retirement pension, impossible debt to pay, so let's get the money also from the EU to solve the situation. And so we're trying to, thanks. So we're trying to build up this social network for social movement called Decentralized Citizens Engagement Technologies, DECENT. Sorry. And there we will have a secure notification engine down there, common open authentication, collaborative policy making. So we have the instruments to really build laws massively, so with a lot of people and not just a few. And I'm focused on the circle one, so the blockchain reward schemes. So we already spoke about Bitcoin, thanks Emanuele before. One of the solutions is to decentralize the money creation process. And from a governance standpoint, we are looking for a system whereby the money supply is a function of user engagement with a commons-oriented value within a commons-oriented money system. So it's the user that is in charge of the money creation process. So Freecoin in brief, we invented this Freecoin. We call it Freecoin. It's not another cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, but it's a set of tools to create cryptocurrencies. This is the elevator pitch, so 30 seconds to give you an idea of what it is. It's a participatory and democratic tool set for people that want to incentivize participation and organization. A set of tools that lets people run reward schemes that are transparent and auditable to other organizations for the governance part. Unlike centralized banking databases, and is a social digital currency suite that is reliable, simple, and resilient. Why? So Freecoin is a middleware. In front, the front end is an API, usual application programming interface, so you can show the user whatever you need to show him. And we interface it with a lower backend, which is whatever blockchain you want. It could be Bitcoin, the blockchain you create in your garage, or whatever blockchain you want to use, even a public one if somebody will do it. Let's say Honduras is doing it for land registry purposes, the state. So the domains of innovation, well, the time, I don't know, but I skipped these parts. We can speak about these theoretical parts tomorrow if you want. Let's go into the practice. So what we're doing, we're operating in three fronts. We have three pilot communities. One is in Iceland, one is in Spain, and another is in Finland. And we have a use case in Milan with Macau. So what we're doing in Iceland is what they call social kronas. They have a participatory budgeting event run annually by the municipality of Reykjavik. And who wants can participate, propose ideas to fix the common good within the town, so facilities or infrastructure or whatever you want. And when you get voted for these ideas, you get credits. And now within the Decent project, we are transforming these credits into currency. And if you have a good idea, you get the credits, and then with the credits you go and you have a discount for public transport, or you enter for free in the swimming pools up there in Iceland to get warm, or whatever you want that is linked to the municipality, and the municipality leaves at disposition, let's say facilities, utilities, whatever they want. And so we have here, instead of the proof of work of Bitcoin, the money creation process is regulated by this political participation proof. So we call it social proof of work. Another proof of work, social-wise, is in Spain. The project is called Eurocat. They want a complementary currency, so a parallel currency with the euro. The idea here is to have a micro endorsement and and mutual credit system together. So you endorse another business. This is only business to business for the moment. You can endorse businesses with rules, of course, and the endorsement gives you back money, and you can spend the money within the regional currency, the regional circuit of small, medium-sized enterprises in Catalonia. The third one, which is also the Macau one, it's community-based agriculture. And in this case, in Helsinki, they needed to figure out how to track contributions of volunteers within the urban cooperative farm, which is also the problem they have in Macau, part of the problem. And so we created this money totem, we call it. So you have a terminal in the center of the cooperative. It's full of coins. You just pass after you have done your contribution of work or whatever you have done with your device, and you just type the amount that you have to be paid, and you pay yourself. So just to conclude, these are very isolated and pilot-like experiments. So our mandate was to go beyond the state of the art. We don't know if it's going to work or not. But the idea is to create sort of instruments to have, economic societies where you can really do something good for your community and you get something back. If you are in your job position, you can self-remunerate yourself, and this is a reappropriation of the power of money. And you can create money by yourself, like it happens, we want to happen in Catalonia, whereby you don't have to go to the bank, but you can create it by yourself. So these are three examples of reappropriation of the money power by the multitude. The really last one, it's starting another project also with Andrea, we're gonna work, and if you see the second paragraph, we want to try to substantiate the notion that he was talking about this morning about common fare, in order to see how welfare from the bottom up can be something meaningful, and maybe it's gonna request to change the law, but let's struggle and fight again. Thank you.